Hey, what's up guys? Mike here from Mike's Product Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing Target Focus Training, which is one of my favorite products, one of the best things I've come across. The point of it is to get you to where if you were put in a violent situation, you would know what to do to keep yourself and your family safe. So to start, I'd like to just show this quick YouTube video. I want you to put yourself in the position of this person on the right here that's walking down these stairs. Think about what you would do if you were in this situation. All right, here we go. This guy's coming behind. Boom, grabs you from behind. He's got you, he's pulling you down. He's smashing you up against the door here. Okay, so it throws you down, kicking you. So you get the point. So you're in that violent situation. So this guy, obviously didn't really have any training. Probably a lot of us are in that situation, or we're in that situation where if this happened, we'd probably be doing something like that, just kind of getting beat up because we didn't know what to do. Target Focus Training is all about getting you to where you feel comfortable taking care of yourself. So we'll talk a little bit about the philosophy of Target Focus Training. So really it's about injuring a person that is trying to injure you. So, we saw in that video, right? There was one person doing the injury, one person getting injured, okay? So their philosophy is, look, you can't just sit there blocking things and all that. You need to be injuring the person so that they cannot continue to injure you. This is different than the self-defense philosophy of karate or different things like that, where it's all about, just kind of blocking and getting away, that kind of thing. It's also not about memorizing certain defenses or certain forms. It's about memorizing certain targets on a person's body. So that's why it's called Target Focus Training, and what response you can expect to get if you hit that target with all of your body weight. And there's various ways to do that they show you. The other nice thing about that is that you're not relying on these kind of fine motor movements like, okay, I've got to kind of twist this way or grab in this certain way. You're just remembering, oh yeah, I have to throw my whole body into this person. It's pretty easy to remember. And under stress, it's really hard for your body to remember more fine motor movements. So I like that they focus on the big motor movements more. Also, the time course is very different than most self-defense products or programs. So like with karate, you would go, so I did karate for a while. That's why I talk about that. You go, you learn a few things. It's cool, but it takes you a long time to get to where you are a black belt, where people will say, oh yeah, that guy, he knows what he's doing. It can be years before you get to that point. Target Focus Training, their goal is to get you to where in a 2-day training, if you walked out of that training and someone came to attack you, you can leave that person non-functional. And we'll talk a little bit more about what that means a little later. So who's teaching you this? It's people that have gone through multiple different self-defense things, boxing, jiu-jitsu, karate, all that. They've gotten black belts in those, but they wanted to create something more real life so that you could be ready, like I said, to defend yourself a lot faster. They've also even trained the military how to, in self-defense, well, we'll call it self-defense techniques. But the cool thing is they don't have that macho kind of mentality like, do this, if you do this wrong, give me 10 push-ups, that kind of thing. They're really educators more than anything else. And I'm going to show you guys a quick video here that kind of demonstrates that.
When I cause an injury, let's say I smack this guy in the groin hard enough to injure his testicles. When I smack this guy in the groin and injure his genitalia, I'm going to get a spinal reflex, a somatic reflex arc out of this guy. And what it says is that this guy has an injury. And the reason that's important is because once I cause that initial injury, I'm able to cause additional injuries. That first injury changes the situation in my favor. If you're standing right here right now, I just got done at the ATM, I'm pulling my money out, and this guy appears right here, I have no idea what he's going to do. Is he going to punch me? Is he going to kick me? Is he going to pull a gun? Is he going to pull a knife and try to stab me? When I smack him in the groin, everyone on the planet is going to bend over when they have injured genitalia and render a somatic reflex arc for me. And I get to take advantage of that initial injury. Chris, can you just wait for 1 second? That initial injury, if I'm here, and I call this guy in the eyes here, that initial injury, those traumatized eyes, are going to give me the opportunity to cause an additional injury. While he's busy, while he's blind, I have the opportunity to hit him again, and again, and again, and cause further injury every single time. So the benefit of each one of these injuries is that it buys you even more opportunity. And as we go one by one, we're going to be destroying portions of his body, pulling things out of his toolkit, throwing them away, ruining his ability to operate successfully in violence, and giving ourselves the opportunity to take control of violence every single time. So that's really what this is about. We have to use this exact same tool. He has to hurt me, I have to hurt him. So the only question here is who gets the injuries, and whether or not the other guy proceeds to cause an additional injury every time. If I hit this guy once and back off and try to square off with the guy, he's going to recover, and then it starts all over again. But if I injure him, and then injure him, and then injure him, and then injure him some more, I take advantage of the situation, I now control the violent engagement, and I can render this man non-functional at my leisure. And that's one of the big benefits of causing these injuries.
All right, so you get the idea there, and that's kind of the basic philosophy is you hit certain targets, it produces a certain result, then you hit more and more targets until that person is non-functional, until they can't injure you anymore, and that's where you want to get to for these people, or in that situation. So this also, the cool thing about this is it's a system that works without fail. Reason for that is it's based on science and it's based on anatomy. When you hit a certain target, it creates a spinal reflex in the body, and that's what he was talking about in this. For the groin, like he was saying, every person in the world is going to do that when they get hit in the groin. They don't have a choice because it's run through the spinal cord. And that's a cool thing. They focus on that. And again, you want to get to the point where the person is non-functional. So what that means really is that they are either unconscious, they are crippled to where they can't stand up or hurt you anymore, or they're dead. Those are kind of the options. And of course, you don't want to go there if you don't have to, but if you have to, you have to. A way to think about this is if you had a gun, would you shoot this person in that situation? If you would, then going to a point where the person would be dead with the skills that you've learned to defend yourself and defend your family would be appropriate. The other thing that I forgot to mention before is that these guys, they really help you understand that this is a tool. It's a tool of violence, but it's only to be used if you feel your life is in danger, or the lives of your loved ones, or you see someone their life is in danger. That's when you use this. Reason being, let's say that you decided, I'm just going to teach this guy a lesson. I'm going to just kind of like knock him in the side of the neck here. That's a strike that can produce a knockout. I'm just going to do that, knock this guy out, kind of shut him up. So what they teach you is, look, that can have really unintended consequences. Let's say you hit them in the neck, you knock them out, they fall and knock their head on the concrete and die. It can happen. So, or you hit someone in the solar plexus, but you didn't realize that person had a heart condition and now they have a heart attack and die. Something that you thought would just be kind of shut the person up or teach them a lesson could end up killing a person. And they really help you understand that through the process, that violence isn't something to be used for fun, not in a social situation. It's not to teach someone a lesson. It's really to defend yourself, defend your life or the lives of people around you. So I like that. They teach responsibility. So they also talk about why weapons aren't really enough, why you shouldn't be relying on a gun, why you shouldn't be relying on a knife, and also why you shouldn't be overly scared if someone points a gun at you or has a knife. So kind of to talk about that, this is a website of mine, howtofightforreal.com. But this is a video I have on there. You can check it out on your own time if you want to. But just talking about how, if someone comes at you with a knife, you shouldn't be kind of like trying to dodge and that kind of thing. You should still be focused on injuring this person, because the knife isn't the problem as much as the person. If you can make that person non-functional, the knife doesn't really matter. And watching the videos, you'll kind of get a better sense of that. Or if someone points a gun at you, you don't focus so much on the gun. You need to kind of get out of the way of that gun, but you can kind of rotate away from it, strike the person in the neck or throat so that they have a reflex and can no longer hurt you with that gun. On TV, you always see people struggling over guns or struggling over knives, but after watching this, I always watch those movies. I think, those guys are so stupid. They should just hit that guy in the back of the head, knock him out. So anyway, I like that. I come from a medical background, so I really like they focus on the science and the anatomy of this. So they also talk about the importance of intent. So let's just go over a couple. Let's just go over one target here. So the knee, okay? So knees get injured all the time in sports and things like that. But to actually break someone's knee, it takes a good amount of force. However, if you use all your body weight, you can do it pretty easily. If you just kind of step on right about here, right above a person's knee with all your weight, you will buckle that person's knee. Especially if you get a running start, game over. But just remember, it does take some force. So next time you're eating a chicken wing or something like that, try to just snap that wing. It takes, a fair amount of force, and that's just a chicken wing. So figure a person's elbow or shoulder or something like that. It's going to take a lot of force. So you need to be committed to your targets, okay? If you're hitting a person, well, let's run through a couple targets, okay? So eyes, all right? So right here, if you scratch someone in the eyes, they will turn away from that scratch and bring their hands up to their eyes. So that leaves other targets open, side of the neck, things like that. We mentioned side of the neck can lead to a knockout. The reason for that is there's a nerve that runs through here called the vagus nerve. When that's stimulated, it slows your heart rate down a lot, which leads to less blood to your head and causes the person to go unconscious. Right here in the front of the neck, so that's pretty clear, right? That's where your trachea is, what brings the air into your lungs. You crush that, person can't breathe. Back of the head right here can cause a knockout, just right at the base of the skull right there. Solar plexus gives you that wind knocked out of you sensation. The person bends forward, again exposing some targets for you. Kidneys, right around there. Person will kind of grab there and kind of twist like this, opening up other targets again. Groin, we saw that in the last example. Person will kind of grab there, neck will come up, leaves that wide open for you for their next strike. Knees, ankles, fingers. So the human body has a lot of potential targets. It's just knowing how to target them and hit them with your whole body weight. That's the other big thing that they focus on in target focus training, is not just kind of going hiya. It's like boom, you come with your whole weight into that person and into that target. So instead of putting 20 and 30 pounds of force in that, you're putting however much you weigh. So for me, 170 pounds of force into that. So yeah, that's just kind of a walkthrough of the human body and some of the targets you'll learn and how to target through this system. Other things that you'll learn, I mentioned dealing with weapons. You also learn about dealing with multiple attackers. The basic premise there is if someone's coming at you, you'll want to contact them in a way that you can hit them and then kind of spin them around so that they're between you and the other guy that's coming at you. Then you can use this person, you can shove that person into them, that kind of thing. But you'll get some really great instruction on that through these videos. So just to kind of summarize, the point of target focus training is to teach you how to render somebody unable to injure you anymore. You're going to be the one injuring them, and you're going to leave them in a spot where they cannot get up and injure you more. So your choices are to leave this person unconscious. We mentioned a couple that can leave people unconscious: side of the neck, back of the neck. Um, However, again, be careful though, because while those should leave a person unconscious, if there's something else going on, that person could die from the strike. So you want to be using these uh, techniques only in those kind of situations. Um, to cripple a person, we talked about targeting the knee here, things like that, so they can't get up and chase you and things like that. Or if the situation calls for it, dead. We also learn how to deal with the weapons, deal with multiple attackers. What's this worth to you? Like those MasterCard commercials, right? Like, what's this $10, this $10, the peace of mind that comes with knowing that you could take care of yourself and your family if someone attacked you, priceless. And it really is priceless. And I feel now that because of what I've learned through target focus training, I could take care of myself and my family. And to me, that is worth just about anything. But as it turns out, you don't have to pay all that much for it, which is cool. Also, let me just give you a price comparison here. So let's say, bring up my handy calculator here. Let's say you went with the karate lesson. So a karate lesson, we're just going to say, let's say it's like $30 a session. I looked online, like mixed martial arts can be up to like $100 a session. So I'm just going to say 30 is kind of a general rule. Let's say you're going 3 times a week. So 3 times a week, it's about $90 a week. So multiply that by, say you go every week, you're really dedicated to this, 52 weeks a year, and you get $4,680. That's per year that you're paying. Now, to get a black belt in karate, you're going to take, like 10 years, something like that. So all of a sudden you're looking at almost $50,000, right, to get to that point. It's first of all, it took you a long time. Second of all, you might not have even learned some of the stuff that we covered in the last couple minutes here about how to really put a person non-functional and how to use your body weight to do that. So let's go through kind of some of your options with target focus training. And again, remember that their focus is to get you prepared to face an attacker and keep yourself safe within a couple of days. So let's go through a couple of your options. So this one is an exclusive through my link below. You're not going to be able to get this other places. So this is a very basic introductory offer into target focus training. So you're going to get a free, an ebook as part of this. Just kind of describing some of the philosophy behind this. The audio version, so you can listen in your car if you want to. Videos about defining violence, what it's like, what happens to your body, things like that, which is cool. Then you're going to talk about 3 crucial target areas, 71 minutes of video for that, which is great, and how to use those. And then your last video, 21 minutes, is going to be how to use those targets to get the person to non-functional, which we talked about a little bit. All that through my link, you're not going to be able to get this other places. It's just going to be $27, which is a great deal. So if you're just looking to kind of get your feet wet, check this out. $27. And the cool thing about this also free bonuses here. Exploring injury. Some other target areas here that we didn't mention too much today. Where gun becomes a liability at close range. Interesting bonus there as well. The cool thing about these guys is they really stand behind their work. So they've got this 365-day money back guarantee. So a year, right? Unbelievable. The reason they do that is because their products are so good, and the things you learn are so applicable, and you feel so much better after you have learned them that they don't get many returns. But you do have that option. So let's say that you want to go a little bit more in depth. You know what? I forgot to show you guys an example. So this is an example from one of the. Actually, I'll show you that in a second. So your next option is kind of this complete package. So this is going to be like going to a live training, which I haven't done yet, but what something I really want to do. One of their 2-day sessions. So it's basically just vignettes from a bunch of those different sessions. So it's like you went to a session, you learn what they would be learning. It's really great. You learn all the targets, all the philosophy, you learn how to deal with all the weapons, how to deal with multiple attackers. You also learn how to use like a knife or a gun. Well, not a gun so much, but you learn how to like use a knife if you had one. Just as a hint, the targets are pretty much the same that you'll be striking at. So you learn that. You learn how to deal with people with guns and knives. You learn how to face multiple attackers. All of that. It's going to cost you between $357 and $1375, depending on which option you choose. I bought this kind of middle one, $537, which was great. Again, like going to one of the trainings. So, and I can do it on my own time, which I really liked. That's probably the one I would recommend to everybody. Another really cool one is this joint breaking one. I also bought this one. You can tell this is something I really like. And I'm going to show you an example from that right now.
So I grab a hold of the outside of the elbow, get a 90-degree bend in it, and pull it upward this way so that I can begin to develop a base leverage 3 in the shoulder. Now you might notice that this looks an awful lot like when I'm doing a base leverage 3 to break the wrist, and you'd be correct because it's still just base leverage 3, supination, turning to the outside. Now, in this case though, I don't want to break the wrist, I want to break the shoulder. So in order to do that, I take the wrist out of the equation by simply having a hold of the bones of the forearm here at the end, just below the wrist. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to get me my base leverage 3 tear in the shoulder. And the reason it doesn't go into the elbow is because the elbow is extremely difficult to tear out with base leverage 3. It's just what tends to happen is this joint here will tend to transfer the rotation that I've put in, whether it's with the wrist or whether it's with the forearm, and translate it into the shoulder. Now, from this position, the elbow is very strong in terms of structural integrity, but the shoulder is not. Shoulder's ready to tear in base leverage 3, and that's what I'm going to do. So now I'm going to take my right hand, rotate it around so I can come up underneath the elbow joint with my fingers up, and I'm going to drive straight up on that as I pull back and towards myself with my left hand to tear out that shoulder joint and throw him down. Then from here, I'm going to kick him in the head. So if I feel like I need to take a step to kick him in the head, I'm going to take a step. If I feel like I don't need to take a step, he landed close to me, then I'm not going to take that step. I'm going to do whatever allows me to kick him in the head as hard as I can in the most comfortable way. So from here, I'm going to kick to the head, the idea being there, following all the way through. Obviously, I can't do this to my workout partner safely. The idea there is to accelerate the head so that I can get a good chance of a concussion. And then I'm out of here. Elbow to the side of the neck, I get a hold of the arm. From here, elbow into the rib cage to break the ribs. Now you notice the arm is bent slightly because he's trying to pull this arm back toward that trauma, which is okay by me because now my hand is here, his elbow is bent, and we're all set to go. I'm going to come around and up from underneath, over the top. Once again, pressing all the way forward with the elbow while pulling the wrist all the way to my hip. I'm going to get this much follow through. I can't do that to Dutch without tearing out his shoulder, but that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to end up in a position here. Now from here, I'm going to kick him in the head, and then I'm out.
All right. So, you see kind of the detail that goes in their teaching. That guy's my favorite teacher that's on there, instructor. The anatomical reasoning behind it, how you step through all your things. So it's the way that they teach is really great. I really enjoy it. So that's part of the joint breaking. But you also see that they always teach you how to get the person to that point to where they're not functional anymore, and it's so important because what you don't want to do is like do a few karate ninja moves, right? You knock this guy, kick him away from you, and then he just like gets up and starts shooting you or something like that. You want to get this person to where they're non-functional. All right. So the next one is the live trainings. So these are $19.97 for one person. They also have payment plans, or $29.95 for you plus somebody else. Also, something I forgot to mention that I really like is that these, you don't have to be big or strong or whatever to use these methods. It's about using your body weight. To break someone's knee, if you put your body weight into it, a 100-pound woman, a 100-pound teenager, your teenage daughter that maybe you're worried about, could do this to somebody. Again, like going back to your teenage daughter, if she knees someone in the groin as hard as she can, and then puts all her weight into the back of their neck, she's going to knock that person out, and she's going to be safe from that person that maybe was trying to rape her, right? So it's just invaluable teaching for you and your family if you have one. So live training, I haven't done it yet, like I said, but it's something that I really want to do. You see here they're selling out a lot. So definitely would recommend that if you want to really go all the way with this and get that live training. So you have those instructors right there to teach you. Again, all the e-products or the DVDs and stuff come with a full year money-back guarantee. The live training comes with a through the training guarantee, so up to like the last minute of training, if you don't like it, he'll give you your money back. They'll give you your money back, which is really great. They really stand behind their products. So again, I have links to all these products below. Please use those links below. They'll get you right to where you want to be in the site, and also that introductory pack is exclusive through this video in the description below. So good luck to you, and I hope you enjoyed these as much as I did, and get to that, get that peace of mind and sense of security that comes with knowing this information, knowing that you could take care of yourself if it came down to it. Thank you very much.